Welcome to this ZENworks video demonstration. In this video, we will demonstrate how to get started mitigating the software vulnerabilities that impact your devices. This requires the use of the common vulnerabilities and exposures data provided by the NIST National Vulnerability Database, in combination with the software patching capabilities of ZENworks Patch Management. We will explain how to start the subscription services that download CVE data and software patches, explain how the two work together, and help you configure some initial patch settings. Finally, we will show you how to access the patch dashboard to view your subscription and patch download status. Before we get started with the demonstration, it might help to briefly explain how patch management mitigates vulnerabilities. ZENworks pulls data from two sources to identify software vulnerabilities. These sources include CVE, or Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures data, from the National Vulnerability Database, and patches, from a patch content repository. That data is used to map CVEs with patches to determine which devices are vulnerable based on required patches. Using patch dashlets, you can track these vulnerabilities to monitor automated patching or to patch on demand when needed. Some of these dashlets include CVE severity distribution and top CVEs to track the overall status of vulnerabilities, and CVE trackers to focus on a single vulnerability or a group of related vulnerabilities. The actual patching of devices or mitigating these vulnerabilities occurs in one of two ways: by using patch policies, which automates the patching process to mitigate most vulnerabilities, and by patching on demand, using patch remediation to mitigate vulnerabilities that require immediate attention. Now that we've covered a little about how ZENworks mitigates software vulnerabilities, let's start the subscription services. From the Getting Started page for mitigating vulnerabilities, there are quick links to start both of these services. When you select Start Service under CVE Subscription Service, it takes you to the Subscriptions page, where you add a new subscription and select CVE Subscription from the menu. Follow the steps to name the subscription, select a server for the downloads, and specify how often you want to pull the CVEs. On the final step, you can choose to start the subscription immediately, and if you select Define Additional Properties, ZENworks will take you directly to the subscription summary page when you finish the wizard. Here you can see the configuration options that you made and check the status of CVE downloads with the View Log link. Notice that there is also an Audit tab for this CVE subscription. For subscription audit events to populate here, you need to enable these events in the ZENworks configuration menu. We'll now start the subscription to the patch repository to begin patch discovery and patch downloads. This link brings you to the subscription service settings page. Here, you need to select the patch download server if not pre-selected, and click Start Service to start the patch subscription service. If desired, you can modify the daily collection start time. Click Update Now to begin immediately discovering patches for the devices in your zone. Before applying the configuration, if you are using a proxy server or have Linux devices in your zone, you should configure the proxy server settings and add your Linux vendor credentials as well. After clicking OK, we are brought back to the Getting Started page. Note, now that we've started both services, CVE and patch subscription, these icons have changed from red to green and appended these check marks, indicating that these services are now active. The patch management license has a default 60-day evaluation period. You can enter a key for a purchase license at any time. Next, we configure patch content download settings, so we click Select Platforms and Vendors to configure these settings. This takes us to the Subscription Service Download page, which gives us several configuration options. It's fine to leave the default settings as they are, but many of these settings are designed so you can tailor the needs of your patching and enterprise environment to optimize performance and resources related to patch operations. For example, if you do not have any Linux or Mac devices in your zone, you can deselect these boxes to prevent downloading patch fingerprint files for these platforms. Another example is the option to select the vendors you want to download patches from. The default option is All, but after the initial scan of devices takes place in your zone, you can define those vendors that are only pertinent to your environment to again save on server storage and improve performance. The vendors list under the selected option isn't displayed until at least one scan has taken place after activating the patch subscription. Now, if we return to the Getting Started page, we have one more quick link to demonstrate under the heading Start the Subscription Services. When you click Monitor Download Status, you are taken to the Patch Dashboard page. From here, you can click the Patch Subscription Dashlet, which shows the status details of the patch subscription service, as well as the license subscription for patch management. This includes a status of successful, in progress, or failed, as well as the start and end times and duration for each event. From this dashlet, you can also kick off a new patch discovery poll from the patch repository. If there are new patches available, patch vulnerability data will be updated. In this video, we have demonstrated the initial steps you need to take to identify the software vulnerabilities in your ZENworks management zone by configuring patch management subscriptions and downloads and monitoring the ZENworks patch and CVE discovery and download processes. For more information on the steps you need to take to further configure patch management, track patch vulnerabilities, and mitigate those vulnerabilities, see the other Security Getting Started videos on the Mitigating Vulnerabilities page. For more information about using ZENworks security products, see the ZENworks documentation page. Thanks for watching.